अच्छा सर दिस वन। अच्छा starting with the first question, ठीक है this one. अच्छा this question. For each of the following, give the name of an element from period 2, lithium to neon, which matches the description. Elements may be used once, more than once. ठीक है. Element which is gaseous at room temperature and pressure. ये मैं pure table सामने open कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है. Which element over here in the first period, second period की बात कर रहा था, I guess. Lithium to neon. Which of these are gaseous?
Would be like uh, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen.
नहीं, these are
Oops,
not.
no,
ये gaseous.
nitrogen, oxygen, and I think neon. I'm
And
not
fluorine,
sure about fluorine.
fluorine as well. Fluorine is a pale yellow gas, ठीक है. Carbon जो
Yeah.
है, carbon is a solid. It's वो diamond and graphite, ठीक है. Uh, और फिर left side that's metallics, so they're also solids. तो सारे ऐड कर लेते हैं. इसको मैं हटा दूं एक सेकेंड. ठीक है this one. So you've got lots of options. You've got nitrogen, which is gaseous, oxygen, which is gaseous. You've got fluorine, which is also a gas, and you've got neon, which is also a gas. उससे तो एक ही कहा था. I said next one is an element which forms an oxide, which is a reactant in photosynthesis. ठीक है, तो बताओ इनमें से which oxide is a reactant in photosynthesis? Photosynthesis की equation बताओ. What is the equation for photosynthesis? नहीं, क्या क्या equation होता है? मरवा any idea?
CO2 plus
हाँ ठीक है.
carbon dioxide plus water gives us oxygen plus glucose. Yeah.
ठीक है, C6H12O6 and
Under the condition of chlorophyll and sunlight. Yeah.
ठीक है. So the answer is carbon dioxide. The oxide, an element which forms an oxide, which is a reactant. So that is obviously carbon dioxide. ठीक है, क्योंकि carbon is over here. ठीक है, it's over here. Next one, element that is a product of photosynthesis. मतलब that's O2, right? ठीक है, clear? An element that makes approximately 78%. What is 78% by volume of air? What is 78% air?
Nitrogen.
ठीक है, और वैसे बाकी कॉम्पोजिशन भी बताओ. What's the second abundant gas in air? शांति क्या होगा? 78% is nitrogen. What is the next one?
Carbon.
Oxygen.
ठीक है. Oxygen is how much? How much percent?
21.
ठीक है, that's 21%. अब बताओ. So that's like 99%. What's the third most abundant?
I think it's carbon, the third one.
No, it's not carbon. Carbon is not a gas.
Oh, carbon dioxide.
हाँ, लेकिन third most abundant कौन सा है? It's not carbon dioxide. What's the third most abundant? Argon है, ठीक है. Argon is the third most abundant. फिर fourth पे ना you got carbon dioxide. ठीक है. मतलब carbon dioxide is like 0.0. It's like a very small amount, 0.03% or 0.04%. ठीक है. So majority जो है that's nitrogen and oxygen. Element which has atoms with a full outer shell of electrons. ठीक है. इनमें से बताओ कि which atom has full outer shell electrons in period 2?
It is in period 2. It's chlorine.
नहीं, period 2 does not have chlorine. उसने lithium से neon तक. ठीक है, this
Oh,
part.
sorry, fluorine.
The fluorine it's in group 7. How many outer shell electrons does it have?
Neon, sorry. Whoops.
Neon, ठीक है. So it's neon.
Yeah.
Next one,
Yeah.
element which exists as both diamond and graphite. ये कौन सा element है? Which is diamond and graphite.
Carbon.
ठीक है, that's carbon. An element that reacts vigorously with cold water. So which one is the period 3 neon?
Potassium.
Period lithium to neon उसने कहा हुआ है.
Oh, okay. It is
Reacts violently with water.
fluorine.
Hmm?
Fluorine? No, that's not it.
नहीं.
Lithium itself.
हाँ lithium होगा ना, because group 1 metals they
Yeah.
react very violently with water. ठीक है. So all
Yeah.
group 1, वो potassium वाली बात ठीक थी, but I mean it could be any group 1 metal. They all react, and the reactivity increases down the group. ठीक है. So they become even more reactive when you go down the group. So all group 1 metals they react violently with cold water. What happens कि if you add lithium answer इसका, the lithium hydroxide is formed, which is an alkali, and hydrogen gas gets formed. Plus, group 1 metals होते हैं, they are soft and they have low density, so the metal floats on the top surface of the water and it fizzes and burns and explodes on the surface. ठीक है. अब ये अगला वही आ गया, which is a soft metallic element which is stored in oil. Well, lithium to neon, that's group 1. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's from, okay, yeah, it's clear.
ठीक है, तो it's a very reactive, so you have to store it in oil. अच्छा, boron and oxygen का compound. ठीक है, so boron is in group 3. So what is the formula, or what is the charge in boron?
B
शांति क्या
plus
होगा? हाँ, अच्छा क्या होगा?
B,
Group 3 है ना, तो what is the charge?
It's
B
B plus 3
And oxygen is group 6, so what is the
minus
charge?
2 minus 2.
So what's the formula?
B2O3
The next one, lithium is group 1, so what is the charge?
plus 1.
And nitrogen is group 5, so what is the charge?
Group 5, it is -3.
The formula क्या होगा? It's going to be?
Li3 and
ठीक है, so crisscross Li3N. ठीक है.
Mhm.
अच्छा, next one is define the term. What does the atomic number tell you? Like,
The atomic number tells us how many protons there are.
it tells you the number of protons, right? That's it.
Yeah.
What does the nuclear number tell you?
It tells us how many neutrons
and protons are in the nucleus of it.
neutrons and electrons, I think.
The
Yeah.
neutrons.
And
And-
protons, yeah.
It's the sum of protons and neutrons. As you've got a table and you have to as remember every element is identified by its proton number. ठीक है. So if I want to go and have a look at the symbol, so I'm going to look at 12. ठीक है. The proton number 12, that's this one. Magnesium, right? Is that clear?
Mhm.
So this is magnesium. तो इसका क्या होगा? What is the proton number? वो नीचे वाला. What's the proton number? That's atomic number. That's 12. What's the nuclear number for magnesium? Based on this, what is the nuclear number?
12?
The nuclear number क्या था? Nuclear number was the number of protons plus the.
24.
Oh yeah.
ठीक है, that's 24. Oxygen पे आ जाओ. It's got 8 protons. How many electrons does it have? This one.
8. 8.
No, but it's got a -2 charge. What does that mean?
That means it gains 2. That means 10.
So you got 10 electrons, right? What's the
Yeah.
neutron? What's the neutron number in this case?
It is 8. 16 minus 8. So 8.
8 है. दोनों का difference है, that's the number of neutrons. अच्छा, number D. Again, the element is identified by its proton number. So 11. 11 पे क्या? 11 is sodium, right?
Yeah.
So this is sodium.
Yeah.
अच्छा, what's the nuclear number for sodium?
24.
ठीक है, so it's proton, neutron plus protons, right? So that's 24. Does it have a charge?
Yes, plus 1.
ठीक है, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एक कम है, सो दैट्स व्हाई इट्स गोना बी +1। ठीक है, शांति, ये क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, नेक्स्ट वन। Now, metallic element aluminium. Uh, how would you show metallic bonding? क्या क्या लिखना होता है इसमें? शांति, आप बताओ कि what would you draw over here for metallic bonding?
I don't know.
Safa, Marwa, metallic bonding.
Oh, metallic bonding is like when the positively charged atoms in a sea of
Delocalized.
electrons.
ठीक है, ठीक है, so that's like 80% correct। ठीक है, अच्छा, so उसमें वो लिखता है regular arrangement of positive metal ions in a sea of delocalizer। You have to write regular arrangement। ठीक है, अच्छा शांजे,
Yeah.
I'm going to explain metallic bonding quickly कि remember metals की एक प्रॉपर्टी है। ठीक है, metals are on the left side of the periodic table। ठीक है, this entire left side, that side is your metals। ठीक है, uh, up till boron there's a staircase, and on the left side, so metals, they always like to lose electrons। so what happens is कि when you have a lot of metal atoms, so when you have a lot of metal atoms, they all start losing electrons and they all start forming positive ions। ठीक है, they start forming positive ions and they start losing electrons, and the electrons have no place to go, so they are roaming around freely, and they form a sea of delocalized or mobile electrons। ठीक है, so this is what you're going to always draw। यही question आएगा, there's not going to be much variation। ठीक है, this is all you have to do, so it's a regular arrangement। अच्छा, it's a regular arrangement of positive metal ions in a sea of delocalized or mobile electrons। ठीक है, और अट्रैक्शन किसके बीच में होती है? what keeps the structure together? Which thing is attracted to which thing?
Negative and positive are attracted to each other, so negatively charged ions are
Oh,
attracted
attracted
to
to
the
positive.
positive atoms.
Positive ions are attracted to the negative electrons।
Negative,
Yeah.
and then negative to positive.
ठीक है, so basically the attraction or the bonding is that the positive ions and the negative electrons, they attract each other। Explain why they're good conductors of electricity?
Because it has the delocalized negative, it has
ठीक
delocalized
है,
electrons. Yeah, or
delocalized
mobile.
electrons or free moving electrons
Mm-hmm.
or mobile electrons। ठीक है, give the formula of gallium 3 chloride। gallium 3 का मतलब है gallium has a charge of +3।
Plus
What is the
three.
charge
And
on
chlorine has -1.
Chlorine is group 7, so it's -1, so what's the formula?
Ga1 Cl3.
और gallium 3 sulfate, gallium is +3, sulfate क्या होता है?
Sulfate is, I think, +1 or no.
See, what's the formula for sulfate? ये क्यों भूल जाते हो sulfate? I sent a
S
sheet।
something. I forgot. Wait.
उसी ग्रुप को देखो ना जरा, उसमें हाँ एस है, लेकिन you shouldn't be forgetting this। sulfate क्या होता है? वो एक से मैं फिर से खोल लेता हूँ, ये जो डेटा शीट है। What is sulfate? Sulfate is
It's SO4 minus 2.
ठीक है, so it's SO4 minus 2. तो बताओ इसका, if you do crisscross, what's the formula now?
It's gonna be Ga minus 2 bracket 4.
Bracket from just Ga2, that's it.
Oh, my bad. Wait. Oh, then it's gonna be CO4 and then bracket 3.
SO4 bracket 3, ठीक है?
Yeah, 3 like that.
The Ga2 and SO4 thrice, ठीक है? That's the formula. Now he's saying that gallium के बारे में he said that it was similar to aluminium, ठीक है? So whenever you talk about when you think about gallium, you think about aluminium, ठीक है? He says it's amphoteric, and he's saying it's going to react with dilute nitric acid. तो वो formula तो पता है, what's the formula of gallium 3 oxide? Gallium 3 would be gallium plus 3.
Yes, and O
Oxide.
minus 2, which is Ga2O3.
So it's going to be Ga2O3.
Yeah.
Plus, what is nitric acid?
Nitric acid, I know. So
HNO3.
You get that's HNO3. So now this is amphoteric, means it can react as an acid as well as a base, okay? So metal oxide plus acid will form what? What would be the salt? Salt of water बनता है, ठीक है? मतलब किधर ये sheet है, एक sheet, हाँ? Just remember ये reactions है ना? Acid plus base produces salt plus water, ठीक है? What's a base? Base metal oxides, ठीक है? So we just need to figure out salt and water, ठीक है? Water तो बन गया. So what is the salt? वो जो H+1 from the acid and the O minus 2 from the base, they form water, ठीक है?
yes.
You're left with Ga and NO3. Ga was +3. They already told you Ga is +3. NO3 पे क्या चार्ज होता है?
NO3, the charge is
-1.
-2.
ठीक है, it's -1. तो फॉर्मूला क्या होगा? It's going to be GaNO3 thrice, ठीक है? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
और फिर you just have to balance it, ठीक है? You're going to balance it, तो easy ones, ठीक है? Balance the easy ones first, ठीक है? The ones that appear in two places. Ga कितने यहाँ पे? There are two Gas? There's only one Ga over here, so इसको 2 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दो सारे को, ठीक है? Is that clear? So you've balanced Ga. I said next easy one. Oxygen को नहीं छेड़ना. Oxygen is in too many places, so it will be harder to balance. N कितने हैं यहाँ पे? How many N's do you have over here? NO3 has one N, but it's thrice, so that means there
We
are
have
3.
3.
ये लेकिन 6 हो जाएंगे. There are 2 molecules now.
Yeah, 6.
So I'm going to multiply this by 6, ठीक है? So now I have 6N. So Ga is done. N is done, ठीक है? अब easy वाला O को नहीं छेड़ना, वो is difficult, ठीक है? Balance H. H कितने हैं? 6 H's. What do I multiply this with?
3.
ठीक है, इसको 3 से, ठीक है? And that's it, ठीक है? So H is done. जो आखिरी है ना, O वो खुद ही हो जाएगा, ठीक है? You can even count it. 6 into 3, that's 18. 18 plus 3 कितना हो गया? 21. इधर कितना है? NO3 thrice, that means 9 oxygens, and there are 2 molecules, so that means 18 oxygens plus 3 oxygens over here, so that's 21, ठीक है? तो वो जो सबसे difficult है, that automatically gets balanced. ये clear है? Is this equation clear?
Yes.
अच्छा, अगला वाला. He's saying that the reaction between gallium 3 oxide and sodium hydroxide solution forms only water and a salt containing the negative ion, this thing, ठीक है? Write the chemical equation. तो पहले तो gallium 3 oxide, जो we know the formula is Ga2 And it reacts with what? NaOH? अब वो ये कह रहे हैं it forms a salt containing the negative ion, this thing. So there's a salt that contains this negative ion and forms water as well. ठीक है, so there's water as well. अब तुक्का लगाओ कि मुझे बताओ कि what is, he says that this thing reacts with this and forms water and a salt containing this ion. Salt का complete formula क्या हो जाएगा? What is missing from the salt if you look at the entire equation? मतलब negative,
Sodium.
ठीक है, that's the sodium. ठीक है, that's the only thing that's missing. Negative ion अकेला नहीं होता. There must be a positive ion. Sodium is group 1, so it's +1. तो इस salt का क्या formula होगा? It's going to be Na2Ga2O4, right? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
फिर इसको बैलेंस करना है तो इजी वालों को पहले Ga2 है, Ga2 है, ठीक है, that's done. Na is 2, so Na is 2 now. H कितने हैं? That's 2. H is 2. सारे बैलेंस हो गए हैं. Oxygen should be balanced, जो मुश्किल वाला है, ठीक है. 3 + 2 oxygen, so that's 5. 4 + 1, that's 5, ठीक है. अच्छा, alloys of gallium and other elements are often more useful than the metallic element itself. So just two reasons why why are alloys more useful?
Because usually they get properties like a desired property they want from that specific metal, and when they mix together, it becomes like stronger and it gets like it's like has better qualities than the actual.
The strong lattice structure because it's like different.
And sizes of particles they're held like more
Tight.
tightly, so they're stronger.
So stronger and they have higher melting point. वो होता है कि it forms a, when you mix two metals, तो what happens is कि उनमें से एक पार्टिकल जो को छोटा होगा साइज में, ठीक है. So what that will do is that it will create an irregular metallic. अच्छा, it will create an irregular metallic lattice. So instead of a regular metallic lattice, you have an irregular metallic lattice. Everything is exactly the same, लेकिन वो जो बीच में impurity or the other atom that has been added of a different size creates an irregular metallic lattice, which is why they can't slip and slide easily, ठीक है. So alloys tend to be stronger because when you apply a force, they're not going to be malleable, they're not going to be ductile, ठीक है. It will be harder for the ions to move around. अच्छा, इसका बस quickly वो देख लूँ कि इसने 2 मार्क्स इसी पे दे दिए या नहीं दिए. Just a second. कौन सा था? मेटालिक लो यील्ड इससे पहले होगा. स्ट्रॉन्ग ये लिखा है, स्ट्रॉन्ग है. स्ट्रॉन्ग और हार्ड एक ही चीज है. हाई मेल्टिंग पॉइंट एंड टू फ्रॉम improved appearance. Strong or hard melting point भी आ जाता है वैसे. I don't know why he gave 2 different marks for this, पर why alloys are more useful. अच्छा चलो ये फिर याद रख लो कि alloys, I mean there are other properties as well, which is कि they have better appearance. बस ठीक, इतना काफी होगा. What is meant by the term catalyst? What does a catalyst do?
Catalyst speeds up the
Speeds up
reaction,
chemical reactions.
ठीक है, so
but
that's
it
one.
does not change throughout the reaction.
ठीक है, that's number 2. ठीक है, doesn't change, remains unchanged. एक और बता दो, how does it speed up the chemical reaction? मतलब वो सबसे important बात है. It provides an alternate path. It provides an alternate path to the reaction, which has a lower activation energy. ठीक है, एक्टिवेशन एनर्जी कम करता है, ठीक है, सो इट्स इजियर फॉर द रिएक्टेंट्स टू रिएक्ट। इज दिस क्लियर?
It's
Yes.
clear.
Just to,
Yes.
अच्छा सर ठीक है, now this is a reversible reaction, ठीक है, this is a reversible reaction and they did not, अच्छा they told us that the forward reaction is endothermic, ठीक है, तो forward जो है वो endo है, तो backward जो होगा that's going to be the exact opposite, that's going to be exo। अब मुझे तो इसका पहले रूल बता दो कि रूल के इक्विलिब्रियम का हायर टेम्परेचर फेवर्स विच रिएक्शन, एंडो और एक्सो? हायर टेम्परेचर, ठीक है, ये फिर से वो खोल भी लेता हूँ, 6 रूल्स, ठीक है, with I guess it was this one। अच्छा, so remember higher temperature favors the endothermic, ठीक है,
Yes.
लोअर टेम्परेचर किसको फेवर करता है? इट फेवर्स द एक्सोथर्मिक।
Mm-hmm.
प्रेशर इंक्रीज करोगे तो लेस गैस मोल साइड विल बी फेवर्ड एंड इफ यू डिक्रीज प्रेशर देन मोर गैस मोल साइड वुड बी फेवर्ड। और फिर थर्ड रूल है कि इफ यू try to increase or decrease concentration of something, then the equilibrium is going to do exactly the opposite। तो ये 5-6 rules हैं इसके equilibrium के। So which reaction would be favored? Now over here, अच्छा पहले तो वो कह रहा है कि अगर हायर टेम्परेचर यूज करेंगे तो the rule states that the endo will be favored, right? Which one is the endo? The forward one, right? So which is a good thing, right? कि
Yes.
हायर टेम्परेचर यूज करोगे तो कौन सा रिएक्शन फेवर होगा? इट्स गोइंग टू बी द एंडोथर्मिक, राइट? तो वो कह रहा है लोअर टेम्परेचर क्यों नहीं यूज कर रहा है, क्योंकि उसका ये आंसर होगा कि एक रीजन, हायर टेम्परेचर इट फेवर्स द एंडोथर्मिक और सो यू गेट मोर यील्ड, मोर फॉरवर्ड रिएक्शन। या उल्टा लिख सकते थे कि अगर टेम्परेचर लोअर क्यों नहीं किया, टेम्परेचर लोअर इसलिए नहीं किया because if you had used the lower temperature then it would have favored the exothermic, which is the backward, and you'll get a lower yield। is that clear?
It's
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
अच्छा, अब ये कि तो ये पार्ट तो हो गया। खैर दूसरी रीजन, व्हाट्स द अदर रीजन व्हाई डू यू नॉट यूज अ लोअर टेम्परेचर? forget equilibrium now, what is not good, I mean why you should not use lower temperature?
The reaction will be slower.
Yeah,
It's
it
going
will
to be
be
slow।
slower. And it
तो
will produce less yield.
नहीं नहीं, वो तो हो गया ना, यील्ड वाला तो हो गया ना कि यू नीड अ हायर टेम्परेचर टू प्रोड्यूस मोर यील्ड, राइट? So lower temperature, it slows down the reaction. Particles have less kinetic energy, and you'll have a very slow reaction. अच्छा, using a pressure greater than 1 atmosphere, higher pressure, मतलब वो क्या रूल था हायर प्रेशर का? लेस gas mole side, right? मुझे तो इस इक्वेशन में लेस gas mole side कौन सी वाली है, फॉरवर्ड है या बैकवर्ड है? I mean, this is the rule, higher pressure would favor less gas। बैकवर्ड में कितने मोल्स गैस के बन रहे हैं? इट्स 2, राइट? वन दिस एंड वन ऑफ दिस, राइट? फॉरवर्ड में कितने
Yes.
बन रहे हैं? 1 of this and 3 of these, तो 4 बन रहे हैं ना? तो
Mm-hmm.
4 moles of gas in the forward side, 2 moles of gas on the backward side।
Backward side.
तो अगर हाई प्रेशर यूज करोगे तो इट्स गोइंग टू गो इन द बैकवर्ड डायरेक्शन, राइट? इट्स गोइंग टू फेवर,
Yeah.
तो यील्ड कम हो जाएगी। सो देयर इज नो एडवांटेज एट द मोमेंट, ठीक है, यू शुड नॉट यूज अ हायर प्रेशर। इसलिए वो 1 atmosphere यूज कर रहा है, ही इज नॉट यूजिंग अ हायर प्रेशर बिकॉज इट्स गोइंग टू गो बैकवर्ड। तो एडवांटेज क्या हो सकता है? आई मीन देयर इज नो एडवांटेज, इक्विलिब्रियम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देयर इज नो एडवांटेज। रेट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से क्या एडवांटेज है?
Increases.
ठीक है, increases, you get a higher rate of reaction। ठीक है, जस्ट रिमेम्बर ये दोनों दो अलग अलग चीजें। रेट वाली जो बातें हैं ना वो ये हैं कि रेट is whenever you increase pressure for gases, you're going to get more frequent and effective collisions because you're decreasing the volume, you're compressing it. Particles would be closer together, so you'll get a much faster reaction, ठीक है? तो और ये याद रखना, रेट और इक्विलिब्रियम को मिक्स नहीं करना। इक्विलिब्रियम इज अ रिलेटिव कंपैरिजन। इक्विलिब्रियम जो है ना, दैट इज वो रिएक्शन की स्पीड की बात नहीं कर रहा। इक्विलिब्रियम इज द रिलेटिव स्पीड। मे बी बोथ ऑफ देम स्पीड अप, बट वन ऑफ देम स्पीड्स अप more than the other one. Maybe both of them slow down, but one of them is still faster compared to the other one, ठीक है? तो equilibrium वाली जो बात है ना, ये वाली, that's a relative comparison, which one is faster compared to the other one, ठीक है? रेट जो है वो एक्चुअल स्पीड की बात कर रहा है। तो इज दिस क्लियर के प्रेशर विल गिव यू हायर रेट, और ये फिर वो डिसएडवांटेज भी पूछ रहा है, तो ये भी हमने किया था कि इट विल फेवर द लेस गैसफुल साइड, which is the backward, and you'll get lesser yield. Is this clear?
Yes.
The electrolysis. What is electrolysis? क्या होता है electrolysis?
Electrolysis is like when you have like the cathode and stuff, you want to make a product, and I don't really know the meaning, but it's like when you have the electrode and cathode and it's to form a product or stuff like metal on something.
So basically, it's a decomposition or a breakdown of an ionic compound of an electrolyte by passing electricity. ठीक है, clear है? Negative ions will go to anode and positive ions will go to cathode. Inert electrodes कौन से होते हैं? Name two inert electrodes in electrolysis. शानजा, कोई आइडिया? सफा, मरवा? Inert electrodes.
No, I forgot.
Yeah, inert electrodes, I know it. It's like when wait, it was
Substance क्या होता है? It's
They don't react, these electrodes don't react when electrolysis happens.
हाँ, लेकिन what
And
was it made from?
carbon.
ठीक है, carbon, which is and especially graphite, ठीक है? Or it could also be made from platinum. Their only purpose was conduction of electricity and they do not react. अच्छा, वो कह रहे हैं कि NaCl का electrolysis हो रहा है, ठीक है? Aqueous NaCl. So I'm going to do the electrolysis over here. I've got this. So there's cathode and there's anode. अच्छा बताओ कि aqueous NaCl, what ions would be present in the solution? NaCl में कौन सा ions है? You've got Na plus 1 and Cl minus 1. ये clear है? And when
Yes.
something is aqueous, तो aqueous में कौन से दो ions होते हैं? Water के अंदर. What two other ions are over here? इस मोड के अंदर.
H positive and OH negative.
Hello?
Acha, sorry. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Just one second. Acha, sorry. वो कहाँ तक पहुंच रहे? H+1 and OH-1, right?
Yes.
Now, who gains electrons? How do you decide who gains electrons? At
Uh,
cathode.
yeah. At cathode, you do the equation.
No,
Of,
you first look at
no,
the
the
series.
reactivity series. You check if it's uh the reactivity of it.
हाँ ठीक है और जो least reactive होता है that is the one that gains electrons ठीक है
Yes.
AU you've got PT ठीक है so you've got the reactivity series and so the competition is between Na plus which is over here and you've got H over here ठीक है तो H wins the electrons are going to be gained by H the equation क्या होगी it's going to be H+1 would gain electrons and will become neutral and H is diatomic so that means double कर लो सारों को ठीक है it's going to be H2 this is the equation they were looking for is this clear
Yes.
and on the other
Yes.
side अच्छा वो दूसरा पूरा complete कर लेते हैं on the other side you have who's going to lose electrons ठीक है so it's उसके लिए भी एक series थी it's I minus 1 Br minus 1 OH minus 1 and then Cl minus 1 and then you had the rest of the ions over here तो उसमें who's going to lose electrons OH या Cl ठीक है it's going to be if it's dilute then it's always OH ठीक है और OH की equation क्या होती है it's you have to remember that equation 4OH minus 1 they lose electrons and they form water molecules and an oxygen gas molecule and they lose 4 electrons ठीक है तो ये इक्वेशन होती है और इसमें एक चीज याद रखनी थी कि इफ इट वाज concentrated then you always select Cl minus 1 तो यहाँ पे आई डोंट थिंक नहीं concentrated है he said it's concentrated तो ये वाली इक्वेशन नहीं होगी concentrate के अंदर it's always Cl minus 1 that ends up losing electrons and Cl is also diatomic so double कर लो ठीक है so that's your equation at anode is this clear
Yes.
Yes.
क्लोरीन का टेस्ट क्या होता है व्हाट्स द टेस्ट फॉर क्लोरीन ये भी इसी काम की है माई शीट this one data sheet test for chlorine gas it's bleaches damp litmus paper that's it ठीक है it bleaches damp litmus paper the electrolysis of the litmus paper is the test and it bleaches it the electrolysis of concentrated aqueous NaCl can be represented by the following word equation construct a chemical equation to represent this reaction do not include state symbols so sodium chloride that's NaCl water care that's H2O what is sodium hydroxide क्या होता है sodium hydroxide
NaOH.
ठीक है remember hydrogen and chlorine are both diatomic ठीक है H2
Cl.
and Cl2 सालों का यूज बताओ कि what's the use for chlorine where do you use chlorine
You can use it like in the pool to use as a disinfectant.
kills bacteria
Yeah, it kills bacteria.
it's a disinfectant where do you use NaOH do you know of any process where NaOH got used in chemistry that you studied
Hmm.
ये उसमें होता था एल्यूमिनियम
Reduces dyes.
NaOH is used in a number of industrial processes जो आप लोगों ने पढ़ा हुआ है ना, दैट्स प्यूरिफिकेशन ऑफ बॉक्साइड.
Oh yeah, and the iron, the
हाँ, मेटल्स की एक्सट्रैक्शन में ना, लाइक इफ यू गो विद दैट वंस मोर, ठीक है, तो उसमें कहाँ गए मेटल्स. ठीक है, देयर वाज एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ, ये आयरन था, उसके बाद आई थिंक एल्यूमिनियम था, हाँ. उसके बाद था कि यू हैड बॉक्साइड or which had impurities in it, other metal oxides, Fe2O3. So what would you do? You will purify the bauxite by reacting it with NaOH. Aluminium oxide being amphoteric would dissolve and react. So when NaOH में dissolve हो जाता था. The other metal oxides which were basic, they would not react with NaOH and therefore they can be filtered out. ठीक है. तो NaOH use होता था purification of bauxite. And there are a number of other uses as well. वो हम एक दफा go through कर लेते हैं. बाद में हाइड्रोजन का क्या है? Where is hydrogen used? हाइड्रोजन का there's a hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. मतलब फ्यूल सेल्स के अंदर ना हाइड्रोजन ऑक्सीजन फ्यूल सेल, ठीक है, वी स्टडीड दैट. तो इन सारों का वो खोल देख लेते हैं. और ये वाला, ऐसे इसका क्लोरीन का तो वही है कि किल्स बैक्टीरिया मोस्टली. द रेस्ट इज देयर नंबर ऑफ यूजेस, ठीक है. वो प्रीटी मच ब्लीच के अंदर भी है, HCl के अंदर भी है, सो नंबर ऑफ अदर यूजेस. लेकिन सबसे मेन जो है ना, दैट्स क्लीन वाटर, ठीक है, डिसइंफेक्टिंग वाटर. NaOH में प्योरिफिकेशन ऑफ बॉक्साइड भी है, एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ एल्यूमिनियम, दैट्स द सेम थिंग. डाइज वगैरह, ठीक है, वो सब आ गया उसमें. और हाइड्रोजन वो मार्जरीन के फॉर्मेशन में भी यूज होता था, वी स्टडी दैट. तो हम उधर तक ही लिमिट रखेंगे. फ्यूल सेल्स वगैरह, ठीक है, जो हमने पढ़े हैं. इज दिस क्लियर?
yes.
Yes.
व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ एक्सेस ऑक्सीजन? Well, when something is in excess, what does that mean?
Means like it's the like when you added too much, it stopped reacting. You started adding more
Yeah,
even when it stopped
so
reacting.
added more than the required amount and is left unused at the end.
Yeah.
ठीक है. तो चलिए फिर कल कंटिन्यू करते हैं. यहाँ पे अफ्तारी का टाइम हो गया, ठीक है. ये क्वेश्चन, लेट मी जस्ट, ये क्वेश्चन इंपॉर्टेंट है, इस पर थोड़ा टाइम लगाना है. तो वी गोना स्टार्ट फ्रॉम क्वेश्चन 5, ठीक है. और ये थोड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, इस पर वो जल्दी में नहीं होगा. चलो ठीक है, कल कंटिन्यू करते हैं, ठीक है.
Allah Hafiz.
ओके.
Hafiz.